Landman Season 3 already has a release window, and it's closer than anyone expected. While most shows are making you wait 2, 3, sometimes 4 years, this one is moving so fast that they're editing episodes while they're still filming them. That's not normal, and that tells us something big is coming. Let's get into what we actually know, because there is more here than just a vague promise of coming soon. Director and executive producer Stephen Kay recently spoke at the Hollywood Reporters Directors in Focus event and confirmed that the production team is already editing episodes while filming is still happening. His exact words were, "We're cutting while we're shooting, and so it'll hopefully be out soon." Now that might sound like a small behind-the-scenes detail, but it's actually a huge deal when you understand what it means for the timeline. Both Season 1 and Season 2 had release dates in November 2024 and November 2025, respectively, which means the creators clearly have a formula they want to stick to. And with editing happening simultaneously alongside production, the usual gap between wrapping up filming and getting the show on screen gets cut down dramatically. That's exactly how Landman has managed to avoid the painfully long hiatuses that plague almost every other major streaming show right now. Think about it. Severance, Euphoria, Stranger Things, fans of those shows waited years, and Landman is doing the complete opposite, and that's not by accident. Production for Season 3 is officially set to begin in May 2026, back in the Texas oil fields, with the full ensemble returning. Billy Bob Thornton himself confirmed in an interview with Complex that he'll be back, and when asked directly about his return, his response was simple: "I'll be there." That alone should put a lot of the early rumors to rest, because there was genuine concern for a while that his summer tour commitments with the Boxmasters could interfere with filming. Now, Season 3 is starting production noticeably later than previous seasons. Season 1 kicked off in February 2024, and Season 2 began in March 2025. And co-creator Christian Wallace acknowledged the shift, saying, "We are a little bit later than we were the last 2 seasons, but that only matters for us because of the heat in Texas." So the delay isn't about story problems or network issues. It's about the brutal reality of filming in West Texas summer heat for 5 straight months. But here's what's interesting. If the editing is already running parallel to production right now, does that later start date even matter anymore? Or is Season 3 actually going to land earlier than any of us are expecting? Now let's talk about who's actually coming back, because the cast situation for Season 3 is one of the most interesting parts of all this. Billy Bob Thornton is confirmed to return as Tommy Norris, and he's been vocal about his long-term commitment, having initially signed for 4 or 5 seasons and stating he will stay as long as I'm able. So all those early rumors about him walking away from the show, Thornton himself shut those down hard, calling some of the reports AI-generated crap. That's about as clear as it gets. His on-screen family is also set to return. Ali Larter will reprise her role as Angela, and both Jacob Laughlin as Cooper and Michelle Randolph as Ainsley are confirmed to continue their storylines. Randolph has already teased more of college Ainsley's arc, while Laughlin has hinted at potential oil-related plots for Cooper. And then there's Sam Elliott coming back as TL, which honestly just makes everything better. Elliott even told Extra TV back in November 2025 that he was already looking forward to the May 2026 production start, saying, "I'm excited to see what unfolds in Season 3. Co-creator Christian Wallace has also confirmed that Season 3 will shift the focus much more toward the gritty oil fields of the Permian Basin now that TL, Tommy, and Cooper are all working together under the same roof, but this time as a small, family-run operation starting almost from scratch, without the backup of a massive corporation behind them. That's a completely different pressure than anything we've seen from Tommy before. He's always had the weight of MTEX behind him. Now it's just him, his family, and whatever deal he made with Galino to get things off the ground. And that's the part that should make you nervous. Andy Garcia is expected back as Danny Morell, and the cartel threat isn't going away. Tommy took Galino's money to fulfill Cooper's oil contract, which means Galino now has financial leverage over the entire new company. That's not a side storyline. That's a ticking clock sitting right at the center of everything Tommy is trying to build. But what about Demi Moore? Because Cami's return is still the biggest unanswered question heading into Season 3. And the answer to that might completely change the direction of the show. So where does she actually stand right now? So let's talk about Cami, because this is the one piece of season 3 that nobody can fully figure out yet. While Moore herself hasn't confirmed her return, co-creator Christian Wallace told The Hollywood Reporter that he and Taylor Sheridan have talked about it, but his answer wasn't exactly reassuring. I think there are so many different opportunities and ways this can play out. At the end of the day, I'm putting my trust in Taylor and his decisions for all of these characters' storylines. That one is above my pay grade, Wallace said. That's a co-creator essentially telling you that even he doesn't know what's going to happen to Cami. And in a Sheridan show, that kind of uncertainty usually means something dramatic is coming. Here's what makes her situation so dangerous. Cami has unknowingly made a deal with cartel boss Galino, the same Galino who is now also bankrolling Tommy's new company. Her plan to promote Nathan to president of MTEX also collapsed after he turned her down and stayed loyal to Tommy. So she fired Tommy, lost her most trusted people, and is now in business with a cartel boss she doesn't fully understand. Season 2 positioned her as a long-term antagonist, and removing Cami would completely end the show's main corporate conflict. But staying on the show with the amount of enemies she's quietly made, that might be even more dangerous for her character. And then there's Galino himself, who is the real storm sitting underneath all of this. When Tommy made his deal with Galino to launch CTT Oil, Galino warned him directly that if their partnership goes south, he will take what Tommy loves most in this world. Tommy has heard threats before, but this one is different. He's not protecting a corporation anymore. He's protecting his family, the same family he just handed executive roles to inside this new company. Cooper, Angela, TL, they're all now directly inside the blast radius of whatever goes wrong. Jacob Laughlin has even hinted that he's hoping season 3 brings Cooper back deep into the oil patch, saying, "Taylor always surprises us, so I try not to have too many ideas in my head. I trust the process." That kind of answer from an actor tells you everything. Even the cast doesn't know what's coming. What we do know is that season 3 is targeting a November 2026 premiere on Paramount Plus, maintaining the release pattern that has made Landman one of the most reliable shows in all of streaming. The pieces are all in place, the production is moving fast, the cast is locked in, and the story has more unresolved tension than it's ever had before. A family business built on cartel money. A fired CEO running a company she can barely hold together, and a threat hanging over everyone Tommy loves. So here's the real question. When season 3 finally drops, which one of the people closest to Tommy is going to pay the price first?